Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Attaining the Second Cognition. This is Endall Beall. I'm going to discuss a topic tonight that pervades the New Age but has no explanation whatsoever, and that is how to remember who you are. When you read a lot of this New Age material, you find that you're instructed to remember who you are. But what you will notice in all of this material is nobody tells you how to do this or what it means or what it entails. When we hear the word memory, our first thought is the linear catalog of our human memories. So we think that remembering who we are is going to come about through this type of remembering, the linear cataloging of facts and events and things of that nature. Because the New Age has focused a lot on past life regressions and past life focus, a lot of people mistakenly think that when you find out who you may have been in a past life, that this is a form of remembering. This is also incorrect. From the standpoint of psoyca development, remembering who and what you are amounts to when you step into your capability to know things. As you erode more of the ego perceptions, as you step more into your psoyca awareness, and you realize who you are from the standpoint of what you develop into, your consciousness advances and you start to remember things based on what you know. There are some people that have experienced knowings. There are other people who think they know things, but there is a distinction between thinking you know and knowing something in the very core of your being. When you start stepping into this knowing on the core of your being, this is what remembering is. It has nothing to do with past lives. It has nothing to do with a linear memory of events that happened in this life, because those are all superficial aspects of how the ego keeps track of itself. Your psoyca consciousness remembers on a deep level of knowing. And until you experience a genuine knowing, even explaining it to you, it's the process and the idea is going to seem very elusive. People have knowings all the time, but the problem is most people ignore them. Their psoyca consciousness will tell them something, and then their mind gets in the way and says, nah, that sounds crazy. So they discount what their knowings provide them in favor of what their superficial world shows them as reality. So even though you get knowings which would help you remember who you are, you discount the knowings because they stand in conflict to the perceptual world that you live in. So when you read these stories in the New Age books, and they tell you to remember who you are, this is what they are alluding to. And I haven't found a single book yet, and I've read a multitude of them, that tells anyone what this remembering who you are actually entails. Like most of the stuff with these spiritual doctrines, they tell you something and then leave you to reach your own conclusions, which are usually totally erroneous. They don't explain these things because they don't know. The idea about remembering who you are is something that the Hapim hive stole from psoyca consciousness, but it couldn't explain it and it couldn't access it because it could never truly know on this level of cognition. So when it talks about remembering who you are, everyone is left with the impression that it is the linear catalog of information or doing some kind of digging to find out who you were in a past life that supposedly helps you remember who you are. Yet, they don't tell you that. They just leave you to reach your own conclusions. And because this has not been explained by anybody that I have seen anywhere in any of the spiritual literature, I felt it necessary to clarify this. As you grow in your psoyca awareness, you are going to receive more knowings on that core level. And the more you know, the more you are going to realize who you are and what your capabilities are. And you're going to discover it has nothing to do with this linear cataloging of data or events or things of that nature. That is not what remembering who you are is. Remembering who you are is when you step into your knowings and realize your capabilities, realize the information you have access to on a deep cognitive level that escapes your waking awareness under the control of the Hapim virus and in the perceptual world you live in. I just thought I would explain this to help clarify things for people so they don't drive themselves nuts anymore trying to figure out who they are by using this linear measurement of cataloging and chasing past life fantasies, because that's not what it's about. When you clear the ego and you step into your psoyca knowing, that is your remembering. Because as you know, you will remember who you are, and it has nothing to do with the life you've lived now or the past lives you may think you have lived. Because psoyca consciousness runs outside the lifetime, if that makes sense. As usual, comment section is open for questions, but I thought I'd throw this out there because it needs clarification, because there's nothing in the spiritual arena that tells anybody what remembering who you are actually means. This is what it is. Like it or not, take it or leave it. As you grow, you are going to step into your knowing, and then you're going to remember. And each knowing is a form of remembrance. As always, comment section is open for questions. Everybody stay the course and don't give up on yourself.